Was your penis in visible range? Like if he decided to start playing it like a marionette with the camera string,
no doubt about it.
You would have seen.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he could have been like, ooh, dude, look at this go. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, like,
I was like, yeah, it's a harp. Be honest. It's more of a harp noise, but yeah, go on.
So it's bad that he's in there and he's got to find whatever he's got to find. And then they don't tell you that he's got to take it out. Right, so then I was like,
that's probably the worst part.
I'm gonna tell you why they don't tell you that.
Right,
I'm gonna guess that it's assumed.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to grow up in the 80s? NES sitcoms and where's the beef ladies? Then you need to listen in your car or at work. Now it's time for Keith is a Jerk.
Week. Wednesday's your night.
Everybody, clap your hands.
I was talking about that. With a friend of mine, I want to go to karaoke and just do that. Pick the song that's like the longest with no lyrics. And like every time just be about to sing so everybody gets excited and be like, come on, y'all.
Point the mic out at the crowd.
Just try to hype guy it.
Yeah.
And see how long you can get everyone to stay on board with you. But still like be like, here we go, and come on, y'all! And just see if you can drag it out for like an entire 5 minutes. It would be so great. Oh, Jesus Christ. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Keith is a Jerk. Bit of a hiatus there. What do we got today? We got Ryan and Dave. How's it going, guys?
We're just gonna skip over Ryan's.
Sorry. Okay, Ryan, how's it going?
Oh, thank you for inviting me back. It's lovely to be here.
What?
Don't hold your mic. Don't hold your mic while you're doing it.
No, I was turning down Keith's yelling.
My name's Ryan. How's it going?
Check.
He sits perfectly at the mic until he's ready to talk. Welcome, Ryan. What's going on? Not much. What about you guys?
It's like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Give me 7 smiles.
I don't know what to do with my goddamn anything. All right, we're back.
Beautiful. And we got Dave. What are you saying, Dave? I like this 1920s pugilist mustache you got going on.
Yeah, man. I can't stop playing with it. This is the second time I've been on a video chat.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking at myself, but I can feel it. And this is Co-David 19, man. This is what we're all about.
I was gonna say, this
growing
is
facial hair.
Definitely the time where you want facial hair that invites you to touch your face more.
Yeah.
Can
I'm
you
not going out.
please dive deep and get into steampunk? Because I would love to see that. Steampunk
Sure.
Dave might be the best birthday gift you could ever give me.
I'm growing facial hair. I'm snacking. I think that's pretty much, you're bored, you snack. Snacking and growing facial hair. That's what I'm doing.
Snacking
When you're bored, that's
Dave's
what you do. I was just telling the guys that I was just watching a bunch of videos from when the kids were born, and we had family come over and kind of did a social distance visit from the end of the driveway. They brought over pictures of like when I was a kid, and I was pretty nostalgic. So we got in that mode, and then we were watching, from when my first was born, and she's 8 now, and she turned over and looked right me dead in the eyes. She's like, "You were really skinny back then." I'm like, huh. And it feels like a yesterday to me. But then, so it makes me want to snack even more right now. So, but yeah, I feel like I'm getting back on the human horse here. It's not so bad.
What a way to just shut those feelings down,
No
Oh, yeah.
kidding.
Just like nostalgia was gone. I'm like, that's a different person. That's a whole
Record
different
scratch,
life.
scene over. Like,
It's
fuck.
not time to make a change.
Like,
Dad,
yeah.
it's time for a change. It is time, Dad. Want to try the 30-day push-up challenge, Dad?
I feel like I'm a robot that got sent back in time to replace that Dave. You know what I mean? The true happy Dave, like that was actually healthy and doing stuff. I feel like I'm just a robot that's malfunctioned. I'm like, I need a tune-up.
I've never seen that movie. That's a fun movie. A robot gets sent back in time to replace a guy and fuck things up.
Yeah,
You know,
the robot's
it's-
just a mess,
It's
poorly
always like to
designed.
try and fix it, right?
You
The
can-
alien, the guy
yeah.
comes back to try and stop everything from happening.
Dave,
right.
you can warp back anytime. Your work is done. You're good, man. You can go back anytime now.
You have done your job. You can just bury yourself in the dirt until your time and then get back up again.
You're
Unlike
just
Big Hero 6.
yeah.
Do you feel like you've had enough?
You're just Marty McFly. Like your picture's
fucked
already
enough
back.
things up.
Stop hanging out. Get in the DeLorean and get the fuck back. Like
You're just grabbing the Cheetos like ba la 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 la. Ryan doesn't have kids. Crazy. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's fucked up. I'll tell you guys what. You know it's great? Yeah, having parents you don't see. This is business as usual for me. There's no COVID visits. There's no no end of the driveways or anything like that. It's great. Yeah, it's I didn't even call to see if they were okay.
This would be the time, though. This would be the time where they show up one day and just be like, "We're bored."
Check. Finally have nothing to do. That's the right time to come see you, right? When nothing's going on.
yeah, unannounced.
Yeah.
Yeah, unannounced,
2
completely
a.m.
unannounced.
Just walk into the house. Hey guys, everybody wake up.
We're bored. We thought we'd stay.
Which room is ours?
Can we use your pillows? What's
I already
the day
took a shit in your tub.
the Dave line? Got any toast? That line
seriously.
still blows me away. Anyway, I'll stop referencing our work.
I would just I would think I would wake up to my dad just playing my guitars. You know, like that's a big thing he likes to do is just walk in and just start playing my instruments. I'm like, I don't care. It's just it would be 3 a.m. and that would be fine.
That's such an '80s dad thing to do. Actually, looking through my dad did give me an album of some old pictures, and like I said, it was nostalgic. My parents, holy shit, were they good-looking people before I came along. Like my mom was a stone fox. My dad was a healthy, happy young cop, and like it's like nostalgic
Please send me
'80s dad.
pics.
Where it's unbelievable. Like it's I will for sure.
Can you send them?
And
Yeah, because I'd love to just pop these up right now so everyone can
I'm
see.
realizing now that from that moment in 1978 when they had me till now, I'm the problem. Same as you kids. We're just
Imagine how much more like disappointed your parents are getting every visit.
yeah, like
You know, like your daughters
Right.
are noticing. So like, just imagine your dad only seeing you every 6
Well,
years.
this is
you
the
know, and he's
epiphany,
like,
right? Where
"Jesus fuck, son. Like,
what's
Maybe
going on?
we'll
Yeah.
stop bringing them food and casseroles. We'll just start
Just
bringing them
off the-
photo albums and CrossFit vouchers and
your dad keeps giving you fucking bands. You know, for
Right.
exercising.
I think my family looks at it kind of the way the downtown Vancouver looks at their problem, right? Where it's just like, it's two evils, and what's the cleanest way to get rid of it? Just feed them, I guess. I don't know.
finish
Give them
off.
clean needles.
Oh my god.
I don't know. But yeah, it's clear to me that I'm the issue. Here I was thinking that all the neglect and abuse was,
No, it's definitely not you. Keep twisting that mustache up though.
right. And so this is what's turning me into what I think my life purpose is to be
Pedophile?
either an evil trainee. No, I thought more like somebody that ties damsels to train tracks that don't run anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good
we need
one.
some
Like
some
the
Pete-
incompetent villain, where it's just like, man, I tied you to these train tracks. The CN line hasn't run for like.
We
20
need to give you
years.
some piano accompaniment in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fast piano. I can't do that. I can only do Lips of an Angel or Heaven or something.
But a lot of boredom though. How about you guys? Like I feel like I'm healthier now just because of the way the lifestyle was. I actually do feel like I'm going out for walks with my daughters and my dog. Like I'm actually doing things today. I feel better.
Yeah.
Like it feels weird that I'm actually, of course I'm not making money. I'm not contributing to, society in any which way other than raising good kids, but I actually feel better getting there other than boredom
Well, I
and
mean,
snacking.
that doesn't have to manifest itself physically, Dave. So don't worry. That's fine as long as you feel better.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks, Ryan.
Proof is not anything, Dave.
The proof is
yeah,
in the pudding,
no.
but maybe less pudding. Maybe less pudding.
Dave's eating all the proof.
I was told that this was 151 proof right here, so I need to get 151 right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, and honestly, like you're right. Like, and the reality is too, right? Everybody, I think, is now learning, and I think it's if you exercise at all, you feel better, and I think that's like I've had my days, where I'm like, fuck, I'll just feel like shit for a couple days, and you start thinking about like, well, because right now, my industry does not exist. Like
samesies.
no matter what, right? Like until they decide
we're basically travel agents. We're guys who play saxophone solos, like in the scale of usefulness right now. We're travel agents and photomats. Like fuck.
Yeah. I feel like a guy who just opened an '80s film developing booth in, you know what I mean? And like that's sort of the career path I've chosen. Because the worst part is I can't even do my fallback where I just teach kids how to write now. Because they're not going to have a career either. You know what I mean?
Like I could teach my daughters how to open toys on the internet, and apparently that's a thing.
Right.
I'm just finding this out now that this is actually a thing.
That unboxing shit.
I feel like that one's gone away. Like the people, like the stuff my kids watch is actually pretty. Like they got like full animations and shit now. Like it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot more work. It's stupid. Because it's all dumb shit, but it's I don't know, whatever. Who fuck you really want to do that? You want to start at 45, start a YouTube page and
I've got 7 videos up for my daughter. I'm learning how to use iMovie on my phone, man. I'm going
your
down
daughter
that
doing
industry.
it makes perfect sense. Your daughter is 8.
Yeah.
That's the right age.
Yeah, well, you master a craft and then you go into it.
Yeah, go get TikTok, Dave.
I love that you use the word craft to describe
That was going to be
like
my
it's
next proposal
welding.
for you guys. Satellite TikToks.
No,
I don't know, man. I'm bored.
Yeah. No, the boredom. I joke, but I'm working quite a bit, so it's been nice. But it's the same thing day in and day out, right? So you actually do get. It doesn't matter. Like the days do fucking blend. I do remember one day where I thought I just sat down to work, and then I looked up and I was like, is it really like 11 o'clock at night? Like I didn't know. Like I was in my room here, which doesn't really have any windows, and I like walked outside and I was like, oh, okay.
I missed daytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I stopped worrying about what that looks like. But I don't know. Let's just make people laugh, man. Like let's talk. I was thinking let's do. I think we're going to talk. about
are we trying to make people laugh this week? Okay, I don't know what we've been doing so far, but.
Well, I mean, it's always at us, so that's like the given, right? Let's just keep going with that fucking trend.
Hospitals. You want to do this week?
Hospitals, intense doctor visits, whatever you got, like anything like that.
I do feel we'll dust this one off when we get Bobby back, because Bobby's
Sure.
got a glorious story that just destroys all of us. Do you have anything right out of the gate? Because I've got one.
Yeah, I've got a crazy story, but it's like if you want to go for it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. This is it's a shame we're never going to air the one we did last week where we talk about Ryan's tricky tummy. I have a tricky tummy.
I think that's enough.
Yeah. I'm surprised that's the only part you didn't air, is just me talking about my tricky tummy. But
it's an hour and a half. Yeah.
I was going to doctors and getting tested and stuff like that. This is probably mid-20s. It's becoming a real problem at this point. And my doctor says, all right, we're going to get you the barium enema. And after he said that, it was like, I didn't know Dave yet, but he kind of did a Dave face after. He's like, yeah. So he books me the appointment. He's like, go to the pharmacy, buy a kit. You need to buy a barium enema kit, and then you show up at the hospital on the date on the card, and that's what it is.
Okay, so now just for people who don't know, because I'm now
No.
realizing
Dude,
that
this is
maybe I
crucial
don't
to the
know.
story. Let me
Okay,
just
please,
how
yeah.
little I knew about the barium enema
Yeah.
is goddamn crucial to the story. So you're supposed to buy the kit like the day before your thing, and I did, and I go to a drugstore, and again I was like 25 at the time, and I go and I tried to pay for it, and I got an NSF fee buying a barium enema kit, and like a bunch of people behind me in line, and like
How much was it?
probably 28 if it was like it was
In
not
your
a big
20s, you didn't have $28?
dude. I was a young writer, like fuck no.
About to get a barium enema.
I was not.
He didn't have a lot of things going
I was not a
for
young
him.
lawyer or a young craftsman. I was a young writer.
Yes?
Dude,
I apologize. Now
no.
Now the painting is completed. Yes.
Yeah. So put away the debit card, pull out the credit card, and just kind of like a slot machine. Oh, okay, I got it. Cool.
Could you imagine getting your asshole ripped up on credit?
Quite literally. Or imagine going 0 for 2 trying to buy an enema.
Jesus. Sorry, continue.
So then I go home and I'm completely. Keith was about to explain the process. Nobody did that to me. My doctor just gave me the Dave face, like, hey, yeah. So then I'm like, I thought I had to administer my own enema, and then I would have to go to the hospital. The basics of a barium enema, for nobody's had it. Broad strokes: they shoot a bunch of white barium up into your stomach. Then they take the X-ray to see where the barium illuminates the X-ray.
They shoot it in the exit, right?
Yes, and I thought I had to.
I'm saying I don't know much about this. I'm learning.
And I thought I had to do that myself. So I get home and I'm
like a 60s protest with the fire hydrant.
Oh, dude, I was like a prize fighter. I was like, all right, come on, we can do this. We can do this. Like, getting ready to.
Sorry, you're gonna do this to yourself?
I thought I did, and then I get home. What? And I open the package and it's like in a sealed.
Let's go! I'm so excited.
It's in this sealed
this is such
thing.
Ryan LeClaire.
Oh, dude, it's my finest hour. I like open up the pack. Like, if you were to do an unboxing video, Dave, you want to do the unboxing of me opening the barium enema kit. So I open it up and there's a piece of paper with my dietary instructions. I can eat nothing, which was
the
really
reverse crisscross applesauce. Right? You got your little legs up in the air.
That's what I was gonna say. So please go on. Yeah, get into your change my diet position.
Yeah, I got my instructions, and there's this fucking stubby beer bottle shaped thing with a label on it, and I thought that was it. And I was looking at it, it's a stubby beer bottle. I'm like, there's no hose. How the fuck am I supposed to like do a handstand and get this like
just squat and tighten it in?
Yeah,
there.
Exactly. I'm like, I am not confident in my ability to do this, and I'm like, there's no hose or anything like that. And then I read the instructions,
Mom.
And no, I was living on my own, so I was twice as terrified by then. That's why I had no money. Then I read the instructions. I finally get some fucking instructions, and like, no, the beer bottle stubby is what was called, I think it was Citramag, which was my laxative, just to clean me out. Okay. And then they're like, you show up, and there's a card in there. You show up tomorrow at the hospital for the actual enema. I'm like, oh, that's a load off my mind. Okay, I can do this. Literally. Fucking A, yeah. Until I drank the Citramag and everything vacated, and that was one of the worst nights of my life. But, yeah, it was a big relief. And then the next day, I show up to get my enema, and I'm in line with, like, nothing but other guys who had the same night I am, and we're all in our little, like, hospital things, ironically, with the ass exposed, ironically enough, and, like... no conversation in that waiting room. We were all just sitting there, broken men. Like, it was like that fucking testicular cancer support group in Fight Club. We're all just like, I'm still a man. We're still men. Man is what we are.
Oh my God.
And I won't get too much into the experience that follows that because it's gross as fuck, but it was...
I mean, why not? I mean, are you just in case there's a girl listening?
I will say one thing. On the card, it said the doctor will apply the enema with a generous amount of lubricant. I did not get a generous amount. And it was freezing cold. I think it was in a fridge or something like that.
What, his
well,
penis?
Then you got empathy for the... You get empathy for the doctor's wife, like generous amount of lube.
Nope. So here's my worry: is if
just one quick thing at the end too. They
please.
take me out. They take me out after the crime has been committed. I go back, and the nurse just leads me into a room in a bathroom, and she just kind of was like, "Okay, well, I'll just leave you here alone a moment." I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Then I'm like, oh God, and like all the barium just sunk and came out like seconds later, and it was mortifying. Dave, help yourself to a loud snack in the middle of my anecdote, if you could, please.
Do you also have some shrimp you want to peel?
I eat when I'm bored.
I have a few observations and questions. One, could you fucking imagine taking a janitor job at that place?
Oh, fuck. Dave is still able to... Like, the barium story made Dave hungry. That's what...
That made him think, oh, I want a snack.
I eat when I'm bored. I eat when I'm bored.
Two... As middle-aged men, I think those are the unboxing videos that we should do.
Yeah, really, eh? More important than ever.
Like, you know, toupees, just for men. All these fucking, blue pill
Yeah, just everybody takes a blue pill at the same time.
Let's do that. When this is over and we can all do a live show, we're all going to pop a blue pill and we're just going to just film from the waist down and see what happens.
So I have a friend
try
who
to stop it,
I have a friend that is at a pot distillery. I have never tried an edible.
right?
Oh, they scared the shit out of me, dude.
Well, now
Yeah,
that
me
you've got
too.
this mustache,
Now I've got this mustache, so I have evil plans, and I thought maybe that would be fun to do
go
like
buy
a
a
quick little
stack
10
of
minute.
vinyls and get into your edibles, buddy.
Yeah, but like where we could all take one at the same time and just see where the night takes us.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Or we could do it with the blue pill and just see what
Both.
happens there.
What kicks in first?
What kicks in first? Do an edible with the Viagra at the same time and see
I
what
know
happens.
Keith is not one. Dave, I've never. I think you have. There's a moment when you eat mushrooms, and the best moment when you take mushrooms in a group is looking around the room and wondering who else. Where's
Right,
everybody
right,
else
okay.
right now? Multiply that by blue pill.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I've never done a drug a day in my life. Not a blue pill, not a mushroom, not an edible. I'm on board. Let's do this.
Just understand, blue
I'm
pill
into
is
it.
not a recreational drug that we're
It
talking
will
about.
be
No,
that
no.
night. I'll snort that and then I'll take an edible and then whatever. Just fucking let's just dive in head first.
It'd be interesting to see how much, I don't know. It feels like it'd be like raising the dead. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? You guys are thinking about winning your sales like a schooner. I'm thinking it's going to be an episode of Flatliners.
What's worse, being first in the room or being last in the room?
Yeah,
You don't want either. You don't want either of those trophies. You don't want either trophy, really.
So I had one other thing, Ryan. I know you have in the past, but my big thing is I cannot. Ever since being a kid, I've not been able to sleep more than 3-4 hours a night.
Yeah, I'm the same.
So now I take like melatonin, or if I really want a good sleep, the closest thing to a drug I take is like neocitrin. If I'm like I just want to be like crash right out. Fine, tell me it's unhealthy. I sleep.
Just super quickly before you get into this,
Yeah.
Keith was in this habit. We're both writers. We both work late, and then we're done working. We want to fall asleep immediately when we're done working.
Right.
So Keith was on a really unhealthy cough syrup knockout phase for
Very
a
much.
month.
Potato diet.
Yeah, I had potato diet at the same time. And then he asked
Look
me,
at your
like,
picture 8 years ago, bud.
I love this. I've missed this. Keith was like, "Is this cough syrup thing?" And like, "Is this unhealthy?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, really, stop doing it. And then, guess who was doing it a month later? This fucking guy, right? Yeah.
I was literally drinking that fucking scissor stuff that Lil Jon's always taking in his videos. I was like, yeah, that's a fucking good. I hadn't thought about mixing it like that. That's a great idea, Lil Jon.
Were you right from the bottle? I was no more spoons.
Eventually,
just-
I was right from the bottle. Yeah, He was
boy,
bad.
not a pro.
It's the only way to do medicine, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I say I've never done a drug, but I fucking have no problem popping
Oh, man,
64 melatonin every night.
I had a horrible virus over the winter, and I was downing Buckley's, like the Buckley's,
Oh,
like the
fuck.
green phlegm
Yeah, it's
Buckley's,
great,
the
man.
stuff
It'll
that
knock you the fuck out. It's great.
it'll make you see through time. It is
Yep.
so awful. If you actually, if you don't have taste buds, it's great. If
Right.
you start getting your taste back, holy shit, that
Yep.
stuff
Yeah,
is.
yeah. That's a different ball game.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It's my old man's claim to fame, buddy. That was his winning slogan. Buckley's tastes awful, works great. That was it. That was what he did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's my dad's. And then my other dad's is I don't know. My question was, I know you're like me. Like my problem, like I'm so glad that you just told me about this, because if it ever comes up, I might think, okay, so I have to drink this shit, and then so that way in the morning I'm like ready to go. Because I would drink that, and
There's
then
no
I would
morning.
pop, like, a
Just
bunch
so
of
you know,
melatonin.
just you know, there's no morning. You're up all night vacating.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah,
terrible.
like I was a broken man. You know, you eventually just start taking 7 showers instead
boy.
of wiping, and it was. I did. There's no sleep. You're not
dear.
sleeping that night. You can lie down all you want. You got someplace to be in 5 minutes.
Wow. Okay, well, fucking that ends. Yeah.
And you
White
start doing the
gloves,
math. You're like, how much does a human stomach hold? This is preposterous. Like,
You know what the worst part is? If you were my kid, I would feel so terrible for you, but I wouldn't let you in the hot tub. You know?
Oh, God,
I'd be
no.
like, I know this will fix you, but you're not going in the hot tub. I'd be like, I'll hose you off outside. All right, horrible hospital stories. I had one that I wanted to talk about because I realized I hadn't, and I'm surprised. but it's just, you guys ever had a camera in your pee hole?
Recreational or for medicine? I'm unclear on the question.
It's a
hard no,
reverse
hard no,
enema.
hard no.
Is basically what it is. So I had.
Oh, I'm so glad I stole my enema story worse. This is gonna be so much worse, dude.
It's not gross in the sense of like, you know what I mean, like.
Wait a minute.
it.
Did we not start this podcast off in like, let's just make people laugh?
Yeah.
I'm trying to vomit over here.
Much like most people in my life, I think it's my pain that makes people laugh.
Fair.
Fair, yeah.
And somehow, you know, it always gets back to, is it a little gay? You know, so we'll keep going. So I had I had a kidney infection, and then I ended up with like a prostate issue and stuff like this, prostatitis stuff. So it was all fucked up.
How old?
Early mid-20s, somewhere around there too.
Okay, yeah.
So there's a hospital story that goes with it, but it's kind of boring. Outside of the fact that the doctor was like, yeah, I don't know, take like a leave. And thank God for nurses. I mean, obviously now we all know it. I will say it's weird that everybody's like respect nurses. I'm like, I feel like everybody always has.
Yeah.
That is a weird one. I was like, I've never known anybody who's like, yeah, fuck nurses. But this day I was definitely the most grateful because I did this thing where I was hunched over and I literally couldn't stand up. And so I'm talking to this doctor and he's like, yeah, just taking a leave. I feel like you've just thrown your back out. And the nurse is like, doctor, there's a fair amount of blood in his urine. And he's like, yeah, so just like gonna leave. And she's like, doctor, sorry, just there's a lot of blood in his urine. And then the doctor's like, yeah, I don't know, like, you know, maybe just to leave if that's not enough. And she literally holds my piss up in front of his face. And it's a good deep red.
Oh,
and
wow.
Like,
just can we pause? What a power move. Holding a piss up to the I like this nurse so much.
Asshole. Yeah.
I'm picturing like your doctor was Chevy Chase, just bumbling through.
It's like you caught him in the middle of Fletch 3.
I wish. That'd be awesome. So anyway, that led me to this follow-up where the doctor's like, okay, so we have, and I don't remember what it's called, a penisoscopy. That's
it. That's
what it's called. That's the
technical
term. Guys, I don't know if you know, but my 2 years at drawing cartoon school didn't cover most of these medical terms. So I go in for my penis thing, and the worst part is I'm so terrified. Genuinely fucking terrified. And Angie's like, it's not going to hurt that bad. And I'm like, you don't understand. I'm not worried about the camera. This is medical. I assume he knows what he's doing. I've never had a man hold my penis in his hand and cradle it. And I'm like, I don't want to get excited. I'm like, I'm worried that I might get turned on.
Oh,
you're worried. You were like 25. You were like 25.
There's fight or flight. There's fight or flight when it comes to a penis, right? And my penis is a flight. It will retreat.
Summon unanswered questions at Keith's age of 25, you know.
And my penis is a fighter. He's like, he's like, hey, bro, we hated broccoli till we tried it too. What do you say? You know?
Right.
So
not mine. Mine is touching my spine at that moment.
Ooh,
yeah.
Oof. So I am so scared. And this is not even a homophobic thing. This isn't even. It has nothing to do with anything other than I don't want this doctor thinking that I'm such a sexual deviant that he's doing a medical thing, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I can just punch my sack while you're at it, you know. And I mean, because I asked, and he doesn't do that. And so the doctor comes in, and he goes, I got good news and bad news. And I was like, okay. And I didn't ask for a generous amount of lube. I was like, I just want to know the facts here. And he goes, bad news is, this is probably the most uncomfortable you'll ever be in your whole life. And I was like, yeah, that's what I keep telling everybody. That's what I'm worried about. And he's like, the good news is, if you just keep watching that clock on the wall, I can be done before it reaches around 1 minute. And I was like, okay.
Okay, I like his attitude.
It was good. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. Do you think it clued into me at this point that I'm about to have a fucking camera snake shoved up my Pinu.
Yeah.
No, I'm still thinking, is my dick gonna get hard in this man's hand? Like, because I don't want him then to make eye contact, and then I don't know what face I'm making either. Am I making like a face of like, or am I like, I'm sorry? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. So anyway, the worst part is whether you're wanting to worry about what you're going to experience or not, you will experience it, because that thing went into my penis, and I can tell you that there is no describing what that feels like. The closest I can come to is like, it felt like peeing backwards, you know what I mean? And I was like, what is going on? Because you can feel it inside your body, you know? I was like, it was awful. I felt like I was swimming in the Amazon,
sorry.
you know, when you pee and then the little fish goes up your whooper.
Oh God. Ugh. Can't even hear that. So no anesthetic, no, I guess, numbing, like if you would go to the
dentist. On it.
That's fair.
Yeah. I genuinely don't remember. If the procedure calls for it, I assume he did his job right. This guy was
you
great.
must have been just surprised, because, like you said, you were thinking about don't get a bonar.
Yeah.
And and I say bonar now because of, and it just started. I started doing it again because Keith was. No, because the way you are the only person that used to text me boner, but you spelt boner with an AR at the end.
Yeah.
Bonar.
You
Yeah.
Like
and
donaire.
I don't know why it came up in my mind, but for about a month now I've been like a bonar. Anyway, you're worried about getting a bonar.
The guy who hung himself in the tree from growing pains, bonar.
And so then you're not thinking about your face and like the instant reaction the moment that starts. He's like, all right, don't move. If you move, it's going to be longer and more painful.
Right.
And you're thinking, and then all of a sudden it's just burp. And did it take 5 minutes instead?
No, he was true to his word. Like at that point, it was a weird sensation, because I was both incredibly relieved that I had no sexual feelings towards this man whatsoever. And he was very attractive. I'm not taking anything away from this man. He's a good-looking doctor, so all the signs are there. I should have been excited.
It's on you. That's on you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He did his best to make this work, and whatever.
He tried.
If you had a good Jewish mother, she would have been all disappointed that you didn't make a move.
Oh, my mother doesn't need to be Jewish to be disappointed. And so this thing goes in and starts snaking around whatever it's got to get in there, and then it's so now you're in it, right? It's like the little Star Wars thing is in that little tunnel trying to shoot the thing at the end of Star Wars. And
Right.
I don't remember that. I'm not a nerd.
You've seen that movie
you're
many
describing
times.
a
I can
different
tell.
movie. You're describing Tremors. But okay.
It's same thing. Same thing. Yeah. So when Mr. Keaton.
When he threw the dynamite.
When he threw the dynamite down the
Yeah.
tapeworm thing, and then my penis exploded at the end. So he snakes it in there, and it is real awkward and real uncomfortable. But at that point, I am just watching the clock, and then
Sorry,
Is
just
it
one
in-
quick question. One
Yeah.
quick question. I'm just
Yeah.
curious. What are you like? Are you sitting like I am now with your arms like this? Are you like on your back? Like, are you strapped into a table like an
No,
old
it's like
mental
a,
asylum?
No, it's like a like the black couch on those casting couch videos.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was like a fucking medical table, man. I don't know, like a,
So
a
you're,
gurney or
but
whatever. I don't know.
was your penis in visible range? Like if he decided to start playing it like a marionette with the camera string,
No doubt
you
about it.
would have seen.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he could have been like, ooh, look at this go. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, like,
I was like, yeah, it's a harp. Be honest, it's more of a harp noise. But yeah, go on.
so it's bad that he's in there and he's got to find whatever he's got to find. And then they don't tell you that he's got to take it out, right? So then I was like,
That's probably the worst part.
I'm gonna
perhaps.
tell you why they. I'm gonna tell you why they don't tell you that.
Right.
I'm gonna guess that
Yeah.
it's assumed.
So I walk around for a week or two with this in, or I mean, yeah. My friend
It is a
Ryan gave
weird
him
one, though, if you're trying
my
to pull
friend
a
Ryan
scam
gave
where you
himself
try
an
to
enema, but fuck it.
it's a weird one if you're trying to like scam the doctor's office and this is your plan to steal the penis cam. Like, just get up and run out when he's got it in there. So yeah,
This thing's
so,
like 8 megapixel. This thing's great.
Yeah, it would have been like 90s. So it would be useless now. So this thing that I ran out with. So yeah, he literally pulls it out, and it's like a fucking clown with those, the cottons. Except it's out of their mouth, and so it's just like this. Everything was awful about it. There was no.
Did he pull it out like
how-
starting a chainsaw, or was he at least a little bit more delicate? Was he like,
Or do they ask you? It's like your parents
Or
might
is it
ask
like
you, do
fishing?
you want the Band-Aid off or do you want it off slow? Yeah.
do you want me to hook this bass, or do you want me to?
Yeah, he set the hook
Slither.
when it was in there. He just gave it a little. Okay, good.
I got one.
Started reeling me up from the other side of the room. No, I just remember it was like get it out, and
Oh, fucking hell.
it gets so much weirder though. Like, I mean, it gets worse. So, Zink, he goes, "Hey, there you go. Did I make it under a minute?" And he looks up and he's like, "Yeah, we're good." And he's like, "Hey, man,
Most
good job."
people,
That's,
yes.
that's his end game. That's his end game, not
Legit.
the discovery of what's
And he
wrong
was
with
great.
you.
He was awesome. He was like, "Hey, we're good." Yeah, and he was like excited. But
He's like a pit crew. He's like a NASCAR pit
You're
crew.
the
He
first
only-
person he's asked that hasn't been like pale and passed out. You know what I mean?
Passed out. I'm like, "Did I get a boner? Did I get a boner? Did I have a boner?"
Doctor, the patient is saying boner with an A. We're not sure he's okay.
He's asking if he got a boner. No, he fucked up the other part. This is a stupid man. So he does it, and it zip. He comes out, and then he's like, "Hey, good job." He goes, "All right, we did it." And he goes, "Okay, nurse. So what are gonna?" And he just starts talking to the nurse or whatever, and they both just walk out. And I'm just sitting.
Oh, that's a lonely moment.
I can
That's a
give you- I
lonely
can just move
moment,
my mic
dude.
to give you a visual of me on this kind of table gurney thing here. And I slowly start doing this walk of shame where I pull my pants up.
Yeah.
I was like, is no one talking to me? Seriously? Like, I just sat there in this whore's position on the table for like, I don't know, like 3-4 minutes because I'm awkward as shit and I don't know what to do at the best of times, let alone what protocol is after I've had a ring of handkerchiefs yanked
What are
out
they
of my
And
dick.
like part of you is probably
I mean-
I would be scared that I would stand up and a nurse would come screaming. I'm like, don't stand up right now. Are you crazy? Like,
What do you fucking want? You want them to give you a kiss? Like, they got what they wanted.
I just wanted him to say, "You're done, get out of here," throw a couple dollars at me and tell me to go home like I'm used to. Like it's... I want to.
Keith
literally
was,
just anything.
Keith was waiting for a second lobster.
I stood there. I sat there for like, it was longer. Like I watched that clock and it was longer than it took for the operation, and I just sat there waiting with my bonar out, and I'm like, do I just go? Like, is this over? And so yeah, eventually I just got up and pulled my pants up, and I was like, okay, bye everyone, thanks. And I walked out to the front, and the person at the front desk was like, all done. I was like,
You're asking the
guess.
wrong person.
and then she's like, yeah, like I think the doctor's gone. Did you have questions? And I was like,
He's gone for the day.
he was gone because I think he was like a
This
doctor that
motherfucker had a tee off time. This guy had a tee off time, and you were in the way,
100%,
man.
yeah. And I was like, okay.
He needed the nurse was taking like a cam photo from the other side. Like, we need to get this uploaded right now.
No, the best part is they're like, okay, if you want to go get in the room, the doctor will be here soon. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Your clinic's in the back end of this massage parlor.
So if you guys
was
go to
wondering-
Pornhub, look up Fat Chris Pratt getting boner fucking exam.
It's like I was wondering why the room had a hand dryer and a urinal, but okay, cool.
Do all medical
fuck, that's
procedures
funny.
happen through glory holes?
That's funny.
Yeah, it was awful. It was terrible.
You know what though? It might be better to to think about for that procedure. It might be better just for a glory hole situation with the doctor.
That's a good idea.
Right?
Yeah, that would have
That's
been
your
fine.
answer to everything, David. That's your answer to everything.
Stop pitching this, Dave.
My wife, when we had our kids, man, she had a C-section, and they put a big tarp up right in front of, like, over top of her belly where you can't see what's going on down there.
Yeah.
That's what I want. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Numb me.
Yeah,
Give me
that's
like
fair.
if I'm going in for one of those, give me the
That's
old
true.
needle in the spine and lay me down on a bed, put me in
Yeah.
Jesus Christ pose. I'll be done.
The Orthodox Jews got it right, man. Give me that big old sex blanket with the little hole in it. Do everything
exactly.
there.
I'm worried we're making too many Jewish jokes at this point in the podcast about medicine.
I'm a quarter, so I'm allowed
Oh,
4
Dave.
altogether.
Dave is on to cookies. Loud cookies.
Let's stop and watch you eat this. Turn this into an ASMR video.
Oh god, that eye roll was disgusting. That you should never roll your eyes like that when you're eating a cookie. That was too much happy.
I'm looking dead into your eyes right now. I don't know if you can tell.
Your eyes are dead looking, yeah. All right, what about you, Dave? Been to any operations, medical procedures, like nothing?
I mean, I feel
Really?
like I've got my. Do you wonder why?
Let's talk to him next week.
I'm saving them all up for one big one, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay, Dave,
Red Fox.
we're gonna give you an everything.
Yeah.
You're like that episode of The Simpsons where all the viruses can't get through the door on Mr. Burns.
Yeah, the Three Stooges syndrome. Yeah.
Seriously, you've never gone to you've never had any kind of operations or ER visits or anything like that?
I mean, maybe. Like ER, yeah, I've gone for my virus this year for sure, but I feel like I'm more of like that car. I'm like a barn find. You know what I mean? Where it's just like some people are done with me, and then 20 years later, someone's gonna find me out and just realize that it's like, I don't know if we can save this. Like we'll detail it maybe, but I don't know what the point is.
We'll rip the guts out. We'll put in something better.
I'm like a Volvo that people are barn finding and be like, I don't want to spend money on this.
You're an
know what I
old
mean?
beetle.
but
You're an
good.
old beetle.
Yeah. Like, sturdy, reliable, but for the most part,
Somebody's going to pay
outdated.
$14 for Dave at an auction to see if maybe
Like,
there's something
I was
inside.
gonna say, hipsters are gonna drive Dave around in the year 2030.
That's what I'm going for. No, I feel like I have the stereotypical wisdom teeth story where you wake up completely high and I was with a single mom at the time, and she was not a fan of drugs or alcohol, but when it's a medical induced high, she played it up pretty hard and laughed her ass off at me the whole time. So she had a good day, and I was not happy about it. But
Good. This took place before cameras
me-
were on
for
phones
me-
and shit like that. Yeah.
For me, it's more it's the stuff you think about back from when you were a kid, and you realize now that it's essentially you can equate it to leeches, right? Like I remember my family
Yeah.
doctor.
Medieval.
I had plantar warts. I had 2 plantar warts on my foot, and they did this. My daughter has one now. And that's where the conversation just reminds me of that, because I know they have a procedure now. You take care of it. There's medicines and whatnot. In the day, I got brought into the hospital.
Which
I did not get told what was going on. It was my family doctor, same one that gave me a needle every week to get rid of allergies, which I don't even think is a thing. But
Brian, yeah.
yeah. And so my family doctor, he's like in his 70s. I'm 5-6 years old. I got to where I was so I get up on the table, and he's just like, let me take a look at that. I take my sock off, and I guess my mom had told him what was going on. So lo and behold, he's like, this is, you just look at your mom, hold her hand for a minute. They take the, I don't know, was it nitroglycerin?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Oh,
and
no,
they
it's-
just, on a big Q-tip, nitroglycerin
Just so we're
puts
clear,
it on your foot.
this is the
and it
stuff that killed the Terminator. The stuff you're talking about is the stuff that killed the Terminator.
100%.
Yeah.
And so as a 6-year-old,
Dave's foot
you'll
was
be
T1000.
surprised. Yeah. So as a 6-year-old, you'll be surprised when you're a 7-year-old man who,
Any
for the most part in my
situation,
life, he's been like my doctor. I've gone and seen him. He gives me needles, but he's made needles better. He's actually given me VHS
I
movies
was
of
going to say,
cartoons.
this is the VHS doctor, yeah.
Yeah. And I trust. And
My
all of a
VHS
sudden,
doctor was very different.
I went through pneumonia with this guy, and he was like my family doctor. But all of a sudden, I feel a man's grip on my ankle. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I just see this kind man, and it just like the room got dark. It felt like, right?
Same,
And he
you should feel
grabs
it on
my
your
leg.
bonar.
Yeah, and then my mom, I look over to my mom and I look at her and she's looking at him, then she just looks at me with a dead straight face. And then she's like, just look at me. And I'm like, what is going on? I haven't been told what's going on.
Yeah.
And I just see this Q-tip he holds and he just goes like this. I'm like, okay, it's a Q-tip, no big deal. And then all of a sudden, like, it's just, and it was the most excruciating it's
freezing
pain.
sizzle,
It's just,
right?
yeah, it's fucking liquid nitrogen, man.
Yeah.
And then he did it twice on the same foot. And I'm like, what the fuck? As a 6-year-old, right?
Dave's big toe is like falling down into the nitro.
Yeah.
And like, and then I had another, almost like 2 weeks later, I had like a growth, right? Or something
Sure.
like that on my shoulder.
Twin brother,
The same
yeah.
thing. He's like, yeah, it was something like that. He's like, let me, same thing. Let me take your shirt off kind of
I
thing.
just fucking
and
love
then,
that shit.
No
yeah, and
shit.
it just surprise needle into my and like sliced it off. Just did a full like one of those. It was
dude.
like a different time. Like you didn't have to tell kids what was going on.
Oh,
You know what I
God.
mean? Like this isn't your body. Your mother
good
brought you
point,
in to
actually.
get this
Davey,
repaired.
Davey, how did that not traumatize you to the point where if you get like a
Oh, did it not traumatize me, Ryan?
No, I'm saying, well, besides
his
the
mustache.
obvious, but like, yeah, fair. A normal man does not have that. But like every time you get a
is
zit or a
origin
skin tag
story.
or anything, you're just like worried about the Q-tip. Oh God, that's
That would
Dude,
be
it's
rough.
100% my origin story. Like
That's
that is
medieval.
if I were to ever go.
that's
like,
your
yeah.
radioactive spider.
Well, that's
Yeah.
his little mustache. He's gonna spray fucking nitrous at kids or nitroglycerin at kids.
Freeze,
Everyone-
kids!
Instead, we do what all of our dads do. We just drink beers and like, you guys got it so lucky. Now you know what happened to me.
Right.
You're looking for just a little bit of modern empathy. It doesn't happen. That's
like,
why your dad picks up That's why your dad picks up a guitar every time he walks around. Like, look at me. I used to be cool. Look at me. I'm gonna play you a song.
Your kids are just like, Dad, it's 6:00. Are you gonna make dinner? I don't know why you bring this up every day.
Yeah, we got rid of warts in my day.
It's equivalent to leeches. You go back, you think about the old interior of hospitals.
Oh,
the
yeah.
fact people were still smoking.
and shit. Yeah.
yeah, that's
it's just-
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well, like I
different
think I
time,
told
man.
it before. I won't bother retelling it. But I mean, like I went in and the medical procedure. So I broke my nose. I used to break it all the time. And it got broke during a rugby game.
You did it, right? People didn't do it for you.
yeah, no, yeah. I was like that crazy guy who's like, yeah, you want to fucking go? First one's on me. And then like just smash my own nose, It once a nose breaks, it'll break really easy. So it did get broke a lot. And so one time it broke, and this one was quick. I can't remember if I told this or not. I ended up going to the hospital, and the doctor was like, yeah, that's it's kind of starting to set because I played the game and then it sat in the emergency room. So like the cartilage was starting to come back in. So he just took a fucking rod, just a
For the
metal rod. It
record,
was just like
the game was Super Mario that he was playing.
rugby, where my job is to hold up the other big guys.
Right.
I'm not scoring tries, bro. So he's like putting the metal rod just up my nose and 1, 2, and just breaks my nose again. You know what I mean? Just really breaks it so that he can set it properly.
So it's not like sorry, I've
he's
seen
like,
it done
no
on
nose-
TV.
no nose
on
leave
TV, they
crooked,
do it
yeah.
with the hand. They just move it over like in.
I've had my nose. Look, I've broken it so many times that I have either set it myself or had people with me, coaches and shit like that will just kind of line it up and you hold it there and it's it'll go back. You can feel it's like anything, like a show. You can feel when it's out. Anyway, that wasn't that story. That was what it was. The worst one that I ever had. We haven't been doing very many videos. If you've ever seen this finger on me, let me
Yes.
see here. Hold on, I'll make myself full screen here.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
That's a nice one. It's all fucked up, and it happened when I was 10. We were at this guy's farm, and we just wanted to go see the horses. We're poor and shit, right? So horses are like fucking. That's crazy. That's rich people's playthings. And
Fucking hate horses.
oh, I can't stand them. I fucking hate horses, but it has nothing to do with this story. At the time,
A previous podcast explains why I hate horses.
yeah.
but go
Oh yeah,
on.
no, you've got legitimate reason. I just think they're dicks.
Yep.
Anyway, we're bouncing up and down on a fence, just like watching the horse, like just getting excited as kids do, And then I'm like, shit, my thumb. Fuck, stop. Because it was like one of those like intertwined fences.
Yeah.
And my finger was caught in between the intertwine and had ripped right through. it happened so fast that I didn't even realize it. I felt the pain on my thumb, and I thought that was what was bad. And I was like, oh shit. So eventually we pull it out, and like I'm just bawling my eyes out, right? And I'm like, oh, my fucking finger's falling off, and it's literally dangling.
Oh man! Like,
So
when people
the-
tell you things like I hate these stories. Like people tell you stories of pain like this, and you feel it. Like I don't know about you guys. Like maybe it's because I'm sitting, but I feel it down in my butthole. You know what I mean? Like
I'm so glad you said this. I've talked about this. I had girlfriends
trickle
that have said,
down.
like,
It's
hey,
a yeah,
I have a
dude,
term for
it's
this.
so-
I call it BWAP. Okay, I always do that. When somebody explains something that's so, I go, BWAP, because that's what it feels like is happening on my asshole. It feels like this energy of ring just goes BWAP out from my butthole and spreads through my body.
Oh God. Keith started with a this motion, and I was terrified what was coming next, man.
I'm
Like,
talking about my butthole. Like I feel it down there, and it's just like a little like an electric current through my
it is-
body.
yeah,
it's
but
a little,
it's not-
it's a little
I'm telling
tingle.
you,
It's a little tingle.
It's
yeah,
a bop,
yeah,
yes, but I'm not
yeah.
saying my butt. I'm not saying my butthole goes like that.
No, it's the energy. It's like if this is your
okay.
butthole and it goes and it smacks you on, it goes whop, and the energy comes from around it, and it
Yes,
shoots
that's
all
what
through
exactly.
your body. I don't know if
I'm
that's
so
a
glad
thing.
you said that. I'm so glad you said that, dude. Like,
No,
yeah.
that's what I just had when you were talking about your finger. Like and I have young kids, right? So like my wife tells me all the time, she's like, "You need to let them do that." I'm like, "No," because they do things every now and then
That's
where I
right.
just like my butthole's preemptively getting ready for that
Yeah.
surge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
yell
yeah.
it. Anytime somebody will start talking about that, like if they're like, yeah, and then my fucking finger came off, and I'm like, "Bwop!" I'm like, I'm done. It's almost like, you know, in the Marvel commercials when they're showing like the same fucking story over and over again, and it's like, hey, new kid, why are you such a loser? I bet you're a loser kid, and then it goes "Bwop!" and then like they turn and do like their superpower "Bwop!" That's the sound in my head that gets made every time the energy ring goes from my butthole to express my uncomfort.
I mean, it's pretty
right, that's
solid.
fair.
It's pretty
All right,
solid.
so your
Thank
finger's
you.
dangling.
My finger's dangling, bwop, and
Yeah.
I'm not whopping at the time. I'm fucking freaking out, right?
Yeah, my
so-
shoulders do a shimmy, like it goes up my spine. And I start Bill Cosbying.
Well,
That means something different now, Dave. That means something different now.
too.
It's a Cosby noise too. Blop with your blop and your.
Oh, you got there, you lay down after the drink and the bwop. Better than my Mr. T. Arguable. So
More
this-
confidence. Steph is certainly more confidence.
It's like the easiest
Alcohol.
impression, and I can't even do it. So this farmer comes out, doesn't even know we're on his property, and he just sees this kid fucking bleeding all over the place, and is like, all right, well, get in the truck. So just takes me to the hospital. And
I feel like farmers are people that have lost their bwop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they've
That's-
got a
that's-
bwop
no,
radar.
They don't get that anymore.
They can sense when there's a
It was-
bwop on
yeah,
their
he didn't-
property.
he-
They've seen
Like,
some
no.
shit. They've seen
obviously
some
super
shit.
nice
Like,
guy.
yeah.
He fucking took me to the farm. Didn't give a shit for playing in his farm and stuff. Just no emotion. You know?
Right.
Walked over. I don't even think he said like hello or anything. Just looked at it and he goes, all right, get in the truck. And
Not
we're
the
like, "All
not
right."
the front seat either. Get in the back with the
Like
dog.
you don't want to know what makes his butthole bwop. You know what I
God.
mean? The kind of things that make
seriously.
his nightmares are made of.
Jeffrey fucking Dahmer shit.
It's probably simple. Like maybe his dog gets run over. I don't know. But
Yeah.
bwop.
Wow, really diving into fucking Cooper Farm here. So we get to the hospital, and I think the doctor's having a smoke, and he's like, "All right, let's look at this."
Yeah.
And so it's not good. And so he goes, "All right." He's looking me in the eye, and he's like, trying to get a 10-year-old's attention, right? He's like, "You really got to listen." He goes, "I got to freeze this if we're going to be able to save your finger." And I'm like, "All right." And he's like,
there it is.
He's trying to give me my tough guy moment. You know what I mean? He's like,
Yeah,
you got to
yeah,
be a
yeah.
tough guy now. Like, and he starts, he's like, fucking, just gonna punch me to make
Oh,
me. He's like,
yeah.
"You're a tough guy, you fucking tough guy." He's gonna punch me, and I'm like, "I'm a tough guy. I'm a tough guy." And then so two nurses are holding my finger like this because he's got to put the needle into the the wound.
Blop.
Yeah, into the wound and freeze it so that he can do this. So he goes, "Whatever you do," he goes, "doesn't matter. You can scream loud as you want, kid." And he's like, "But don't fucking move." And I think he said "fuck him," which was crazy. And so he puts in the needle, and of course I just go, "Gah!" And the needle shoots out the back of my fucking finger.
I don't know how you wouldn't. I don't know how you wouldn't. Oh, dude. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I don't know what he expected. And so he didn't get too mad. He was like, all right, let's try that again. And he just fucking, then it was just like, just attacking it.
Since 1990, they've decided to start freezing other parts of your hand so that you don't feel the initial part of that.
He didn't have time
you know,
to fuck around. He's trying to save
Come
my
a long
finger.
way.
So he then he just grabs it and just starts cramming it back in. I don't know what the medical science behind this was. Along the lines of just, I guess if
Man.
I just put it in there, it's gonna be okay.
I mean, that really, that's at the end of the day, that's the story of the human
The doctor's
condition.
like,
Hey,
that's
right
supposed
there,
to be
guys.
in there.
Fully functional. So thank you, doctor.
Tell the wedding story.
That's why you
Oh,
can
yeah.
solo so great on your guitar.
All right.
Tell the wedding
so
story.
Jump, however many years later, where I'm gonna get married, and Angie's, and she's getting all excited and planning everything out, and she's like, and then we'll get one of those pictures, and we'll get where you're written, and she goes, which fucking finger? And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, which fucking finger? You know what I'm talking about. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
The hand on hand.
I was like, we can't. I was like, I wanted to see horses.
I mean,
I'd never
the
seen
way
a
you tell
horse
the
before.
story. The way you told the story to me too is like Angie was a decisive non-bridezilla. That was actually like the one thing she wanted, though.
The
She
only
just
thing she
wanted
wanted
the,
was that one
the
picture.
hand on. Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't even fake out the other hand for a minute, eh?
And
Yeah, you
that's
think, right? I could have just flipped it over or something. Fuck, if I only knew
That's-
somebody who did that shit for a living.
that's where the marital concessions began. Everybody.
Yeah. And she just looked at my finger and she was like, oh, fucking blop. So that was that. Anyway, yeah, I think those are my two major ones. I had stitches and shit like that, but I've never had any, I don't have too many crazy ER stories or anything like that. How about you guys?
You know, it's good for you. Like in that situation too, where the doctor's looking at you like, be a man. I look back in my life too. I'm like, I wish I kind of was by myself. I had a doctor do the same thing. My family doctor was on vacation or something like that. So he had a practice with another family doctor. They shared a building. It was awesome. But I went in with an ear infection. So my mom brought me in. I was like probably 3 or 4. Sure. It was a bad one. This is right when I was getting the tubes.
I was
before
gonna
I
say
got
you
my
talked
tubes,
about
right?
getting tubes before.
Yeah.
So like they were really bad. So this one was like melting my brain, and I was in like some pretty big agony. I was like, my mom was holding me, and this doctor looks and he's like, gives me one of those shoulder punches. Like, oh, just go ahead and sit up there and like stop crying and be a man.
Yeah.
And so for you in that situation with your parents, they're probably not even in the room while you're getting your finger done, right?
I forgot
The
to
farmer
tell that
dropped you
part of
there.
the story.
All right, so I'll let you go back to that. Me, I'm in my mother's arms, my loving
Sure.
mother, single mother's
doing
arms,
everything
right?
she
Recently doing
Keith
everything
still-
she can, and she's and
Keith
so
still has
where
like the bus pass in his fucking pocket where he took the bus to get himself to the hospital.
and I'm still loved at this point. So like my mom is, I'm my mom's world. So where Keith might be, his future would become a bouncer and not being afraid of conflict. Me, I'm just like, look at this man, like angry, and I'm 3, and then I just see my mom almost drop me. And she's like, you tell my kid to be a man one more time, I'll put you through the fucking wall. And and I was
That's
like, at the same,
incredible.
you couldn't
That's
feel more
amazing.
you couldn't feel more comforted. And I heard her swear. Like I never heard my mom be this angry at anything, right? So now this is my first time, like I remember, like I'm like, I am with Mama Bear right now.
But I love the idea. I love the idea that your mother was so concerned for your psychological damage that might have done to you in the future, but didn't give a shit about dropping you in the doctor's office to fucking bow up and puff up her chest. You know what I mean?
And to be honest with you, it was a moment too where she'll tell you that story till this day.
Sure.
Like she's so proud of herself and how she stood up, and it's great. But
That's
the story does nothing with the fact of like, yes, my son can't stand up for himself until he was about like 18 years old.
Dave's mom's got him at prom. You fucking want to leave my son here at this prom by himself? I don't think so, bitch.
Yeah.
So, first of all, bus pass. All right, easy money bags. I don't know how you're getting around town.
Yeah, I forgot the farmer took you. The farm, you got to ride with literally a
so
farmer.
he was gone,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. And That's fine. I think he just did a curbside. It was like an Uber, you know. I actually don't remember. I know he probably brought us in and did the adult thing and shit. But I do know that my parents did not come. And when I got home, they were home all day in the backyard drunk.
Amazing.
Yeah, just some nice day drinking.
Amazing.
My aunt and uncle are over, and everybody's just playing fucking horseshoes and just hammered, stoned. And I'm just like, I got really fucked up today, guys. And they're like, yeah, where you been, man? I'm like, fuck.
How are the horses?
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, come play horseshoes, you little fucking dink. You little bonar.
In all truth, did anyone go, oh, what happened? Any of that?
You know, well, I think my mom did after my aunt did. My aunt is a
Or did they
sweetheart.
all look at you like this, like, gin and tonic?
Yeah,
if you
probably both. You know,
Right.
Nine
Of
fingers is
course.
enough to make a
It's
G&T.
Like,
Nine fingers.
You're
is enough.
walking and breathing. You're fine.
It's 1983 or 84. So in fairness, Concern also came with a drink shake. You know, like.
Yeah.
So my Aunt Kathy is one of the sweetest ladies on the whole planet. I fucking love her to death. She's amazing. Her and my Uncle Doug, they're both incredible people.
The drink shake reference is incredible
But
because
yeah.
that's exactly what our childhood was.
That is.
I
Oh,
can
you,
tell you how many
you-
Christmases I had Caesar glasses where he'd like,
Of course.
Yeah.
And,
You
and I
hurt your
think my aunt
finger?
was no, I think she was a rum and coke.
I'll take 2 fingers of rum. I'll take 2 fingers of rum if you're
I'm
like.
not kidding, dude. My Aunt Kathy,
Get the
fucking love
fuck-
her,
I'm
taught
sorry.
me how to make drinks at 6 years old, or however old it was. This, put up the glass, pour the rum to the 2 fingers, then a little bit of Coke, and bring it on back to Aunt Kathy, and you get yourself a crispy dollar. And it was
That's
amazing.
wonderful.
I was a great fucking bartender, except now I was like the Shine Kid from Goodfellas. You know what I mean? I'm walking around all hobbled with my hobble finger.
your two finger pours are different. Your 2 finger pours are different than my family's 2 finger pours.
My poor aunt's hammered. She's like, these drinks are stronger than
Shaka,
usual."
bro.
But yeah, I think she was. I think she was like, oh my God, sweet, let me see it. She's like, geez, are you okay? That's crazy. Here, come on. And you know what I mean? Like, just let's go. Tell me and walk. Let's do both.
Yeah. Like it's
yeah.
my turn at horseshoes next.
And then of course my mom's gonna put on the theatrics and
course.
my son,
Yeah, exactly.
Answer
Like,
a
oh, my
phone.
baby. I need to show everyone how good of a mother I am by consoling him now that everyone else has.
Yeah, exactly. Now that my Aunt Kathy's taking care of me.
Now that I have an audience.
Yeah. So that was that one. But yeah, walked home from the hospital with that one. It was a figure. It was no big deal. And it was like midday. I still remember that because like everybody was,
Oh,
they were just getting started, you know?
did I ever tell that story about the concussion I got? I didn't go to the hospital
No.
for it though. No, I was playing. I'm sure I have. Like I was playing third base and there was a really cute girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
Joanne,
kid who
I
had
did.
a crush on her,
Oh,
I deduced.
God, I love this fucking story. I
deduced
love
the kid
this.
who
Yeah.
first had the real crush on her, saw you talking to her. And
Well, no, I
fucking
think they were-
swing beamed you.
Yeah, I was playing third base. She had come around to third, and then I was talking to her because I had a crush on her.
Sure.
But I looked just like Gummy Tubby, whatever the big Tubby was that sounded like Peter Venkman's voice. That guy from the Gummy Bears. I looked just like that. And then the athletic kid. The athletic
What a
kid who
reference.
she liked.
Analogy
but
of the
she liked-
decade, by the way, Dave. Analogy of the decade. That was fucking gorgeous.
She liked and
naming a
he liked her.
snork.
Like the true couple, like Ken and Barbie. Like he's Ken, she's Barbie, and I'm a fucking chud standing there with thinking I got a chance. And then he sees me talking to her and then decides while I turn my head to talk and smile that, hey, let's do something that everybody does, which is a pickoff move on third, and instead beam me right between the eyes. And I wake up on a wagon. Like there's my grade 3 teacher pulling me, or it's my grade 3, no, it's a different grade 3
that's
teacher.
right.
And she's pulling me up this rocky terrain going
Yes.
towards the school. There's like a path that's walked on. And I'm in a red wagon because there's no chance this 110-pound lady is going to be carrying this bag of rice up a mountain, what it looks like at the time. Like kids are pushing the wagon. I remember a friend Jeff, who's a doctor now, by the way, is like pushing the end of the wagon because I don't think she could get the torque in her heels to get up this hill.
You had to get out at one point, right? Because she said like
I think
can't.
so, yeah. Like
You
I
had
fell. I think it
pallbearers.
tipped over and I fell
You had
over.
actual pallbearers.
Right. And then I had to get up and walk the rest of the way in. But like, I don't remember the rest of the walk. I remember she's like, "You fell asleep on your walk," and like as I was out cold,
no.
and I didn't go to the hospital for that. I actually don't remember.
Concussions were not
Yeah.
a thing in the 80s.
But I had a big goose egg on my head, and then I remember I went to swimming the next day, and one of the
good idea.
coaches was a doctor, and he's like, "Where'd it happen there?" And I'm like, "Well," I told him the story, and he's like, "My friend threw a baseball and hit me in the head." And he's like, "You shouldn't be swimming," but he's like, "But I remember too." He's like, "Where's your mom?" You're like, "She's up there." He's like, "Well." Okay, and then he just walked away. It's like, not my patient. I'm not on the clock.
Just looks at the glass. All right, fuck it.
Did he not throw up today? Then he's good.
Keep swimming.
Concussions were different. Yeah.
Speaking of concussions, I completely forgot. So ER trip, but not directly me. In grade, I think I was in grade 11. My friends and I we were driving the car, and my buddy and I, Doug, and I was like, we were just goofing around, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of my car." And he's like, "Well, you got to slow down." And I'm like, "All right, how fucking slow do I got to go for you to get out of my car?" And he's like, "I don't know, like slow." And I was like, "All right, let's try." So I'm going like, 3. And Dougie fucking jumps out of the car and he rolls, and it's amazing. And then we're like, I wonder if I could do it. So I had the shittiest car in the world back then. I had that, 85 citation. So I was like, he's like, "You couldn't do it." So I was like, "Yeah, I could." And I just got out of my car and jumped out while I was driving. And just the car started rolling down the road. The same shit that I would yell at like people if I was watching YouTube videos for is the same shit I'm doing. And and so I'm standing, I'm like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I did it." So I ran back, got in the car, and then Doug's like, let me try again. And so I'm like, "Okay." And so we go again, and then I'm going. Dougie manages to get out, and he's like, "Yeah." So we started this stupid new game of how fast can we drive the car. And we're not going very fast. And Doug and I, neither of us are good at this. We're falling out like every time. We're switching drivers, and we're both just trying. It's going bad. But my friend Mark Jones, he's fucking this guy. He gets in the car, and I was like, "Yeah, we've been playing this new game." I was like, "Watch." And Doug goes to do it and fucking spills and just lands in like a rose bush or something. And it's amazing. We're laughing our fucking heads off. And Mark's like, "Yeah, that's no problem." And Mark just fucking gets out of the car, and he has this little technique. This motherfucker gets out of the car and pivots. He uses centrifugal force to move in his favor, absorbs the power, and turns. And he stands there, and I was like,
It's a stuntman roll. It's a stuntman roll that you see
he's
on TV,
not
isn't it?
rolling. He's standing. He steps
Just
out of
gets
the
out.
car, and so foot down, spins out, and then stands as if like, so he's taken away the...
Oh, that's
the-
witchcraft. That's witchcraft. He's
It was
a vampire
crazy.
or something. Dude,
and we're
that's
like,
fucked
how
up.
the fuck do you know how to do this? He's like, my brother would literally not stop anytime he had to drive me home from work. He would just drop him. He'd be like, "I'm only slowing down." So Mark had to get good at jumping out of a moving car.
Wow.
I forgot
So-
about living up north. That's awesome.
And this was crazy. So then it becomes this fucking, we've got a spectacle on our hands. So I'm fucking dragging Mark around like a show pony. I'm like, "You guys got to see this." I'm like, "This is fucking insane." It's like I found a fat kid who could do a backflip, And
Right.
and so I'm just
I
showing
love
it
that
off
this
to
is
everyone.
building. This is building to the guy with the singing frog on fucking Bugs Bunny. Hello,
That's
my
what it felt
ragtime
like.
gal.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I'm saying to Mark, and so I'm like, "Mark, how fast do you think you can do this?" And he goes,
Oh, Jesus.
"I don't know." He's like, let's try." And so we keep going faster and faster. Now, up till now, we're only going, 5 at the most. Like 5 is fast when you got to jump out of a car. Like it doesn't feel
Yeah.
fast, but it's good.
That's- 5's going on a bike. 5 is a
Right,
bicycle
yeah.
than just jumping off a bicycle. Like,
Sure. So we're going, and Mark is fucking good. He's like at 10, 20. He's like up to like 20, and he's doing fine. So
That's too
now
fast. That's
it's
too
way
fast.
too fast. Way too fast.
Yeah.
It gets so much worse, Ryan. So we're with our other friends way up in like Unionville, right? And we're like, "Hey, we got a fucking cool trick. Let's show this off to the rich girls and try to impress them." And so we've got a car full of people in my fucking shitty Citation. And we're like, Mark. And Mark's like, "Fuck yeah." He's like this even keel guy. And he's just like, "Yeah, I'll do this." And so he's just waiting. And I admit, I got an empty stretch of road. So I'm like, I want to watch the show. I'm not going to focus on what I'm doing. I'm driving
my
like this
God.
and I'm watching. So Mark jumps out, spins, and does it exactly like he's supposed to do. But since none of us are engineers or scientists, there is a limit to how much centrifugal force he can withstand. So
And
it
momentum.
was the most insane Mythbusters thing I've ever seen. He spins, stands for a full half second, and then shoots straight up in the fucking air. His legs go flying up, and he lands on his fucking head, the back of his head. And I'm like, oh my God. I look down at my speedometer, and I'm doing 45.
Oh my fucking God, Keith.
And I'm like,
Jesus.
oh, I think that was faster than I was going before. And so we double back to get Mark. And I'm like, fuck, man, I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, I don't know what happened. And he's like, I don't feel so good. And there is blood gushing from the back of this kid's head. And I'm like, oh, fuck, we're in trouble. And we're like,
love
we
the idea
have
that
to take him to the ER now.
This kid was
And
like a
so,
Rhodes Scholar leading up until then, and after that, he's just like, feet look like fishes sometimes.
So we've done this terrible, terrible thing to poor Mark. I've driven 40 to 45 kilometers, and he has spun out, and he has smashed the back of his head wide open, much like this bag of chips. And it sounds sort of like the when you chew. So we're in panic mode, and we're like, all right, well, we're not even. Admittedly, I'd love to tell you that there's that movie moment, where he's like, well, I can't fucking take him. I'll get my license. Everybody's like, no, he has to go to the hospital right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure I should have been the one to take him. I clearly have no business driving a car. And so we take him to the ER, and I can't remember what lame-ass excuse we gave. I think we'd said he fell off something and landed on a driveway and smacked his head, and the doctor just gives us one of these. He's looking at his head,
How
just looks
is?
up at us like this.
Why didn't you just say he was skateboarding? It should be the easiest fucking thing in the world. He was
Yeah.
skateboarding.
Ryan, did I not just explain to you, we played a game where I drove my car and we jumped out of the car.
Jeez, Ryan, really wish you were there.
Fair.
It would have been so much
Very
cooler.
fair. Very fair.
So this is the doctor's reaction when we're telling him that he's fallen and hit the back of his head. He's looking at his head like this. And so he's like, well, we got to stitch this up now. And he's like, yeah. He's like, see this? And he's like using this little metal thing. He's like, that's skull. We're like,
my
okay.
God.
Yeah, whop. And I don't know why we're all in the fucking room with him. And now that I'm
80s.
thinking about that, yeah, it's 90s, but yeah, I believe we're listening to the Singles soundtrack. And it would have been better if we were listening to "You Spin Me Right Round, Baby," or any Cars song. But so. Oh, Tracy Chapman Fast Car would have been the best. I should have put
there you
that
go.
on.
That's nice. Yeah.
The lack of MP3 ability back then. So we're waiting out
You just
there.
pouted out the perfect playlist for that injury.
It's
I mean,
true. I wish I
we're
could
four
go back
songs
and-
deep. Like,
All of these. Oh, I could make such a good one. I'm going to call Mark and Doug, see what they're up to, see if they want to try this. Rest his soul. And so...
oh no, he died.
No, this is let me finish the story. And so he's all fucked up, and he comes out and he's fine. He's like, yeah, they just gave me some stitches, I'm good. He's like, I can't go to sleep for like a day though. And we're like, oh fuck. And the doctor's like, yeah, hey, who's staying with him tonight? The doctor's coming out there to talk to us idiots. And he's like, which one of you fucking idiots are staying? We're like, yeah, we'll just all stay up.
And Mark's parents are never in the equation here at all because it's
yeah, no, it's
90s.
90, 91 or 92. It's do 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 do. That's basically our theme song, and so we all go back. I think to my friend Stephanie's house. I don't remember whose house we went to, and Mark's like, I'm pretty tired, and we're like, yeah, it's been a long night. We're like, all right, guys, you'll be okay. He's like, you feel okay? And he's like, yeah, I feel fine. And we're like, all right, night, guys. We just let Mark go to sleep.
I thought this was going to go the other way. I thought he was going to start to nod off, and then you just whack.
I thought it was going to be
Start
the end, like
slapping
beginning
him
of a
awake.
sitcom episode. No, it was just like, no, that'll be it.
No, if I wasn't shitty enough asking my friend to jump out of the car to start this whole thing, I was certainly shitty enough to not look at the road and see that I had gone over 3 times as fast as we'd ever gone. And if that wasn't bad enough, I lied to the doctor about what we were doing. And then on top of that, I ignored his only requirement from me.
And Keith's wearing a "Let the Chips Fall Where They May" t-shirt that night.
It's okay. I'm sure he did very well at DeVry later in life.
No, Mark's really successful. He did great. This fucking podcast is not called Keith Does Great.
Solid promo tonight on the t-shirt.
Yeah, you like that, right?
And
good.
if you're watching this, you should know that these t-shirts are available nowhere. We don't have merch. No.
I've had so much interest and cashed in never on this opportunity. As you can tell from all of my stories here, I'm a bonar. Amazing. Anybody else got anything?
I'm good. Blop.
Whop. Davey?
I believe all my future hospital stories are going to be doozies, but as for now, they haven't happened yet.
Revisit this one in 5 years.
Yeah, every 5 years, let's check
Yeah.
back at this.
Yeah.
TikTok, buddy. Holy shit. Okay, everybody. I think that's gonna wrap it up. We're gonna try not to be away from you for so long in between. I'm sorry. And Mark, if you're listening, or if you have the ability to listen, I'm very sorry. I really let you down. All right. Bye, everybody.